Welcome everyone to the Side Drive Podcast, and welcome to our review of the FireKeepers Casino 400 from Michigan International Speedway. We are the Side Drive Podcast, of course, and yeah, Joey Logano basically dominated that entire race. Maybe besides 15 to 20 laps and something around that number, but
yeah, pretty much he had definitely a dominant car. I believe him and Hart was probably top two.
Yeah, would have been cool to get to see them battle it out for the end, but differencing of some strategies just really didn't work out for the 4 team, but nice run by the 22 team.
Yeah, not only starting on pole, but ends up with the win. And like I said, most times people win Michigan's from the pole.
Yeah, and this win marks the first race that a driver has won from the pole all season long.
Wow, that's real impressive.
Which I thought maybe, normal 1.5 mile tracks so far this year have been whoever gets the pole is probably going to drop back because their cars are, just set up for qualifying and not the race. But that was not the case for 22 Joey Logano.
Yeah. I kind of thought a Penske driver would win, but I didn't pick the right one.
Yeah, you picked Brad Keselowski, and he had a good day. Just had some issues with pit road, which we'll talk about here in a minute. So rewinding back all the way before the end of the race, or start of the race. So before the start of the race, of course, this is Monday and not Sunday. So y'all know what that means. Mother Nature just hated NASCAR on Sunday for some reason.
Yeah, she won the battle on Sunday. The only action on the track was with Bubba Wallace and Corey LaJoy and Daniel Hemrick playing football with the fans. So
Mother Nature won the battle. Joe Logano won the war. We're never going to let go of that quote.
Never get rid of that one.
So Logano got the pole. Denny Hamlin would take the lead on the first couple laps. First lap, I believe, which is, looking back on that, that's kind of impressive that he was able to do that.
Yeah, he really dove it down there and went for the lead and held it for just a little bit, not long enough.
And then we never really saw Hamlin again. And he kind of stayed up in the top 10 for a little while, and then he just kind of drifted to the back, which really surprises me because, the 11 team has been really strong, but in recent races, he just hasn't had the speed.
Yeah, something, I ain't sure what's going on there. I believe he had his car set up for speed, which really wasn't set up for handling. Maybe it might be an issue.
Then Logano would eventually take the lead back, then would have a competition caution on lap 20. That was due to all the rain. And then during the pit stops, not much really changed besides Harvick losing 7 spots, which is something the pit crew just needs to pick it up just a little bit.
Yeah, I ain't sure what went on there. I mean, he's got a 2-tire stop and they lose 7 spots. I mean, it's just unheard of.
Yeah, it looks like they picked it up throughout the race, but that's something, especially when we go to Sonoma, that last pit stop is going to be really important. They just need to put themselves in the position there, and I think they'll have a good shot at Sonoma. But need to clean up some pit stops there.
Yeah, they need to clean up some of that and their bad luck, I guess. And once they go to Sonoma, they don't get tricked by Mark Truex again.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what the 19 team is going to do this time.
Yep.
But speaking of bad pit stops, that pit stop would be a double whammy, you could say, because Harvick had a loose wheel. He would have to pit under green, and he would be docked a lap down. And just some weird unknown vibration in the car, which I think it went away. And they never really said what happened to it. I guess we'll never know.
Yeah. And I believe on the competition caution there, I believe Jimmy Johnson got a little bit of damage too, didn't he?
Yeah, him and De Benedetto, just a little spotter issue maybe, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Jimmy's trying to get out, and Matt DiBenedetto trying to come in and just run at each other. So I don't think Jimmy's. His car was handling pretty good, I believe, but he just had trouble on pit road.
Yeah, Jimmy said he had a great car for the weekend, but when the car gets damaged on lap 20, we'll never truly know how good the car was, because that might have affected some of the aero on the car.
Yeah.
And then throughout the rest of the run, Eric Almirola would get to Joey Logano due to lap traffic, which was something I didn't think would get too much.
Not a whole lot. I believe Joey could get through traffic a lot better than about anybody else.
Yeah, Joey could get through anything better than anyone else could. Even when he got mired back in the fifth position there, he was able to get back into the lead. So Joe Logano would take the lead back from Almirola, even though he just lost it for a little tiny fraction of a second, but
yeah,
he would go on to win stage 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then stage 2, not much would happen besides number 51 in the wall. That would be a caution. And Joey Logano basically dominated the stage up until we had some pit strategy. Austin Dillon win stage 2, and that would be his first stage win ever.
Very interesting.
So he would, just stay out and get those important stage points and a playoff point. So then stage 3 would take place. Then we would see this. Do you take 2 tires or 4 tires here? It seemed like, you'd want to take 4, but it just doesn't. It didn't seem like that had too much of an advantage.
Yeah, I don't think the 4 tires really had a whole lot of advantage. Maybe later in the run it may, but handling wise, but as far as speeds, it is all about the same.
Then Eric Almirola would have a penalty, and then it would be reversed, saying that he did not actually drive through too many pit boxes. So that would be good for him, because you're mad that you got penalized, and then they say, "Oh, we're not actually penalized." So,
and speaking of troubles on pit road, I believe that's when Jimmy Johnson had some more trouble on pit road.
Yeah, and also Brad Keselowski, he would go a lap down because on the prior pit stop before the caution, his crew member would fall over the wall, and they have that rule: if they put their hand down, even if they're falling, that is considered a extra man over the wall, and that is a lap penalty for him.
Yeah, I think they classify it as a safety issue.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just the way they word things, I guess, on there.
Yeah, and going back to the Jimmy Johnson issue on pit road, that time it was much worse.
Yeah,
much bigger.
The rear corner panel a little bit, trying to avoid another car.
So on the next restart, we thought it was just going to be a regular restart, but no, Harvick would take it 3 wide with Joey, and I believe it was Chase Elliott or Kyle Larson, and Harvick would get the lead, and then it would be a caution for his teammate Clint Boyer, which that was a hard hit for Clint Boyer.
Yeah, it was a very hard hit. I believe he hit the wall twice, and I believe he's trying to stay off of off of Eric Jones, and then Austin Dillon was coming under him, so he didn't have really nowhere to go, and it caused his car to get real loose, and he just lost it.
Yeah, you want to try to keep as much momentum as you can, because if you let off a little bit, you're probably going to lose like 4 or 5 spots. So you want to try staying in the throttle as much as you can, because if you don't, you're pretty much going to be fighting to get back to where you were.
Yeah, if Austin Dillon didn't go to the bottom of the track like that, down towards the apron, I believe he wouldn't have got so loose, and he would have crashed.
Yeah, but That would be a horrible crash for Boyer, and he wasn't too happy about it. Of course, who would?
No.
He said it isn't racing, but he's biting his tongue.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting comment from Boyer.
Yeah.
So then it would be Harvick versus Truex on the next restart, and then Logano would put this awesome move. I think it really helps when you're a really great restrictor plate racer. That Logano is. He would push Larson into the corner, giving him just so much momentum, and then Larson would get loose. He would wash up, and then Logano would take the lead just like that.
Yeah, Logano had a strong car. I believe he just bump drafted him into the lead, and it made Larson's car got real loose. And it's all part of what Joey planned to do, I guess. But I believe Harvick was the only one that was able to pass Joey all night.
Yeah, and then as that was happening, we'd have a caution for Austin Dillon in the wall. No, it wasn't Clint Boyer. Maybe it was Clint Boyer's car's ghost out there. But Austin Dillon just get loose because William Byron right behind him.
Yeah, he had a little help from William Byron, I believe.
Unrivaled part 2, maybe.
Yeah.
And then it would be Harvick versus Logano. It would be an awesome battle between those two. They would keep switching back and forth. Eric Jones would have to go into pits. And then Chase Elliott would be in the wall, which he was up there in the top 5, battling for the lead at one point. But unfortunate for him.
I believe when these cars drive all in a pack like that, and it just takes the air off the nose, and it just gets them loose, and they're already up in the high groove anyway, and just barely scraped the wall.
And so Chase Elliott in the wall did not cause a caution. Same thing for the 38 and 36, no caution. And then we would have pit strategies. It would be Harvick versus Logano at the front. Larson would come in first, and then Harvick would follow not too long after that. And I think the mistake of the race for the 4 team was
the 4 tires.
The 4 tires. And I think really you would expect everyone to take 4 tires at that point, especially since everyone else took 2 previous stops. So
I believe it's hard to say if you take 2 and everybody takes 4, or if you take 4, everybody's going to take 2, just try to get an advantage. Once one of the first ones to come in, I think you're sitting duck.
Yeah, I would have waited until Logano went in, and then either waited a lap and see what he did, or go in with him. Which I think going in with him would have been the best idea.
Because taking 4 tires, Harvick come out, he was like 5 seconds behind him.
And he did eat that down to like 2.5 seconds maybe.
Yeah.
So it was definitely working. He just didn't have enough time. If we would have had an extra 20 laps, I think that would have been fine. But normally that strategy would have been perfect. He would have just blown right past them. But with this new package or whatever, it just doesn't help that.
Yeah.
So Logano would be in the lead, and it looked like it was clearly Logano's day. Truex and Kurt Busch was right behind him, but you just can't necessarily pass.
Yeah, Logano, he got over a second lead over Truex, which I thought that was pretty incredible. And I was like, well, if Kurt Busch and Truex just, if they work together, they can probably catch him, and that's pretty much what they did.
And then would have a caution for Eric Jones. He would blow a tire and chill out in the infield grass. And then everyone was thinking, oh, it's going to be a wild restart. And
it was.
It kind of was. We had Logano spinning his tires for a few seconds, but gathered up, and he had a awesome launch, which
I believe it was from Kyle Busch might have got in the back end of him, which kind of upset the back of his car, which kind of I thought happened.
And then you had Truex right next to him. He's probably thinking that he wasn't able to go, so it probably caught him off guard. Yeah. Logano was, shaking over there, so he probably didn't go when he exactly needed to.
Probably so.
So Kyle Busch couldn't be so aggressive on that restart either, because it kind of backed him up. So it was wild, but not as wild as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's an incredible run by Kurt Busch too, in the number one car. I thought he made some really great moves towards the end, and at least he tried to go for the lead.
Yeah, another second place finish for Kurt Busch. The other one would be at Bristol. So you got to watch his brother win at Bristol. Now Joe Logano win at Michigan. So I do think that win for Kurt is coming.
Yeah, him and Larson both running strong. They just got to get to finish on these races.
Yeah, Ganassi, Stewart-Haas, and Hendrick, they're just knocking on the door. They just can't exactly get into victory lane. It's like they're able to lead laps and they even dominate races sometimes, and then these weird things end up happening. So I do think it's going to be a toss-up for the championship, especially at Homestead. That'll finish in the night race, so we could be due for a wild one.
Yeah, I thought Bowman he was showing some strength during the race, and I think he's doing good until Chase Elliott kind of messed up his bumper a little bit, and he kind of got real loose. And another one I think did real well at Michigan was Daniel Hemrick. He was running the top 10 towards the end there, and he got a 12th place finish. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, he was battling Kyle Busch up there, and that's one guy we didn't really talk about at all today.
Yeah.
There at the end, he ended up finishing, I believe, 4th or 5th. So, not a great run by Kyle Busch throughout the race, but he managed to somehow, I'm not sure how he did it.
Yeah, another top 5. I mean, he really didn't, run strong all day, but at least he stood up towards the end.
Yeah, so that's the thing with Kyle Busch. When he has a bad race, he somehow turns it into one of his best. Even though he didn't get the victory, but he still managed to, claim at least a top 5 out of it.
Yeah, and Truex, he was running strong too. And what about Chris Buescher? I mean, that team's really coming on strong and getting some good finishes towards the end.
Yeah, so we could see a win out of Chris Buescher pretty soon.
Yeah, he's knocking the door on the top 10, so it's I wouldn't overlook them. I'd keep an eye on them because they keep improving week to week. So.
Yeah, at this point, I wouldn't overlook anybody because the guys at Penske and Gibbs are dominating right now, but you got Hendrick and Stewart-Haas, they're knocking on the door. You got Ganassi, they're there as well, and you got Chris Buescher, and then you got Austin Dillon. Maybe Daniel Hemrick could sneak in a win or two.
Yeah, I mean,
Penske and Gibbs may be dominating right now, but once we get into the crazy races towards the playoffs, you don't know what's going to happen. That could be when we see the true, real races of the year. Not going to give too many harsh judgments on the package up until Homestead checker flag waves.
Yeah, I believe they fight for every position they get now, and once it gets the playoff,
it's going to be wild.
It's going to be. I mean, it's going to be intense. Anytime in the playoffs, it's always intense a lot. Anyway, so I think this year there might be some temper flare and some wild racing.
Yeah. So until then, we have an off week. We'll still have the Trucks and Xfinity series, and also it's going to be Side Draft Podcast, the 1-year anniversary of that, so we'll have that to celebrate as well. The Cup Series, we'll have Sonoma pretty soon, which we won't talk about any sort of package, no sort of drafting, nothing like that. It's just going to be a good old road course race.
Yep. Always looking forward to the road course races, and left and right turns.
Yeah, finally get the turn right.
Yep.
Well, of course, some drivers have turned right this year, unfortunately.
Well, some of the drivers make a right turn,
We'll see.
and change some of their luck.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes at Sonoma in a few weeks. But for now, we have Iowa coming up. So if you're a fan of that, we have that to look forward to. So we'll see you then.